The LMG class is a favorite of many a Star Citizen bunker runner. In fact, if you were to ask almost any Star Citizen player what their favorite weapon in Star Citizen is, you would hear one resounding answer: the FS-9 LMG. Is it really the best that Star Citizen has to offer? Hello folks, StarTech here, and today we're going to break down the LMG class, from the damage stats to the recoil to the other pros and cons of each weapon. We break it all down here. Welcome to Trigger Talk. In this breakdown, I will only be looking at medium and heavy armor for simplicity. Anyone in light or no armor is going to go down against anyone in armor no matter what. First, let's look at the base damage and DPS of each of the LMGs. The Damage LMG has a base damage of 7.9 with a fire rate of 400, giving it a DPS of 52.67. The FS-9 has a damage of 5.71 with a fire rate of 800, giving it a middle-of-the-road 76.13 damage per second. Finally, the F-55 also comes in with a damage of 5.71 and a fire rate of 1200. This gives it a total DPS of 114.2. One thing to note is that the F-55 and FS-9 use ballistic ammo, so they only do this max damage within a range of 30 meters, with a linear drop-off after that. Now, how does this impact the time to kill for each gun? The Damage LMG kills in 4 to 5 shots to the torso, depending if it's a medium or heavy armor that it's up against. This gives it a time to kill of 450 milliseconds against medium armor and 600 milliseconds against heavy armor. The FS-9 kills in 6 shots to the torso or 380 milliseconds regardless of what armor it's up against. And finally, the F-55 kills in 6 shots as well, but that translates to 250 milliseconds against both heavy and medium armor. If going for headshots, the Damage will kill a medium helmet user in 2 shots, or 150 milliseconds, with a heavy helmet taking 3 shots, or 300 milliseconds. The FS-9 takes 3 shots, or 150 milliseconds to kill against medium and heavy helmets. The F-55 also takes 3 shots, with a time to kill of 100 milliseconds for both. These three have magazines of 100, 120, and 150 respectively, giving them a firing time of 15 seconds, 9 seconds, and 7.5 seconds respectively. Now, let's take a look at the recoil of these LMGs. Keep in mind that I'm not fighting the recoil at all in these clips. First, the Damage. Then the FS-9. And finally, the F-55. Outside of the Damage, the other two LMGs have a very similar recoil pattern once they get going, and that is where the FS-9 becomes competitive. As we can see, the FS-9 is actually outstatted by the F-55 in almost every regard. But as I'm sure you noticed, the F-55 has a spin-up time before it begins to shoot at its maximum fire rate. It takes 820 milliseconds to be shooting at its maximum fire rate, making it actually do much closer to the FS-9 in DPS. The consistency in recoil and damage therefore make the FS-9 quite valuable. The final nail in the coffin, and what pushes the FS-9 over the edge, is the fact that the F-55 cannot take a barrel attachment and therefore cannot use a suppressor, a very handy tool in both PvP and PvE to stay hidden from your target. So there we have it. Amongst the LMGs, the F-55 and FS-9 both stand as top contenders, but it is the FS-9 in the end that ends up taking the crown, due to its ability to use a suppressor and its consistency in recoil and fire rate. All of that being said, make sure you try each weapon out for yourself and use what feels most comfortable for you, since DPS is only theoretical unless you can hit your shots. That's all for this one, folks. Please do like and/or subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment telling me what category I should try next, and what your go-to weapon is for bunker missions. Much love, and see you in the next one.